been just amazing at helping us through the whole process. And I know that this was new to you guys as well, because we've already adopted some paths in Yuma. And we're just really proud that we were able to do this with you guys, and are excited to help with the community. Sorry. So because we've adopted the path, we're really excited. Something came across my desk yesterday in regards to the bike path. And a problem that we've run into a lot in Yuma is being on a ride and not being able to have air pump or have a tool to change a tire if you get a flat. So they have these in Scottsdale and in Phoenix, and they're basically bike stations, fix it tire. The one that he's showing you right now is actually doesn't have an air pump. We actually have another one that does have an air pump as well as all those tools. And as the cyclists are working on the Joe Henry Park, we've adopted that park and we're working to revitalize it with the city. We're going to ask to put one of these in our park along the path. And we were hoping that the city of Somerton would also accept us trying to help to do something like this. And we're trying to fundraise bigger companies and people who want to help the community as well by installing these, hopefully 5 or 6 of them around town, and hopefully here as well. But it's just something that we would love to work with the city on for this.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to invite the group to come up and give this certificate. You can bring the sign and take a picture.
Who's that, Mom?
We're gonna have everybody come up. Don't be shy.
Anybody else from the group want to join? Okay, we're gonna start from Cesar, Tiffany, and then we'll have their group take pictures. Cesar first.
Oh, go ahead.
And then the public who would like to take a picture. Anybody else would like to?
We have one, well, anybody else from the public?
Saúl Albor.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Saúl Albor, Community Development Director, 4386 West 12th Lane, Yuma, Arizona. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce the new planner, our new urban planner here at the city, Miss Priscilla Ochoa. You could come up here, Priscilla, please. Miss Ochoa is joining us from the city of San Luis. She's been with us for about 2 months now. She's learning fast. She brings a great skill set to the team. She's a graduate of the Autonomous University of Baja California in engineering. She is really a good member of the team, and I'd like to give Priscilla an opportunity to introduce herself to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Priscilla Ochoa. I'm the new planner here in the city of Somerton. I'm very glad and excited to be part of the team, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
That's it. Thank you. Mayor and Council.
At least you didn't say City of San Luis like our city manager when he came in.
Years.
Anybody, anybody else from the public? There's none. We have one proclamation, Cesar Chavez month.
Whereas Cesar Estrada Chavez, a native Arizonan born in March 31st, 1927, is celebrated as one of America's great Latino American civil rights activists. And whereas he was committed to organizing farm workers to advocate for safe and fair working conditions, reasonable wages, decent housing, and the elimination of child labor. And whereas Cesar Chavez and the Latino community worked together in the struggle of justice to defend the poor and return dignity, respect, and hope to workers. And whereas his nonviolent approach to creating a social justice made him an exemplary role model for working people nationwide and resulted in improving the lives of many Americans. And whereas the life and service of Cesar Chavez continue to inspire us all to seek progress and justice by peaceful means. And whereas Cesar Chavez peacefully passed away in his sleep on April 23rd, 1993, in Yuma County, marking an end of an era of dramatic changes in American agriculture. And whereas the City of Somerton has previously dedicated a street, Cesar Chavez Avenue, in honor and in recognition of the impact and deep roots left by Cesar Chavez in our community. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Gerardo Anaya of the City of Somerton, hereby proclaim March 2025 as Cesar Chavez Month in the City of Somerton and urge all citizens to reflect upon the important achievements of this great Arizonan.
Thank you. I'm gonna invite members of the union and organizers to come up and receive the proclamation and then give a few words. Primero tomamos la foto y luego.
Enfrente si gustan pasarse.
I don't know.
Thank you.
Pues muchas gracias por este reconocimiento y pues no me queda más que decirles que seguimos en el movimiento porque se puede, sí se puede.
Claro que sí. Muy buenas noches, alcalde y miembros del concilio. Como cada año, Somerton hace el honor y privilegio de honrar la memoria de Cesar Chavez. Más que agradecidos porque como comunidad no existe línea de división entre una ciudad y otra. Todos venimos de nuestras familias que anduvieron en la lucha por mejorar la calidad de vida de todos nosotros. Nosotros somos la cosecha de ese esfuerzo que inició Cesar Chavez con tantas familias. Y pues este mes lo dedicamos a celebrarlo en grande. Ya tuvimos el inicio el día 28 de febrero. El jueves tenemos la gala de reconocimiento a la mejor cosecha humana. Vamos a reconocer a 7 personas de la comunidad que han hecho muchísimo. Y seguimos con el 28 de marzo, que será la marcha. Y el 31, pues es la misa que se hace allá en el salón del movimiento de Cesar Chavez. Todos más que invitados de verdad, y una vez más, muchísimas gracias por este hermoso detalle de proclamar el mes de marzo como el mes de celebrar la vida y legado de Cesar Chavez. Gracias.
Gracias. We're gonna move on to consent agenda. Approval of an Arizona special event liquor license for the Somerton Food Festival on behalf of the Somerton Rotary Club. Does any member want to remove the item from consent agenda? Is there a motion? So motion by Councilman Roldan,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Delgadillo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have one presentation, 7.1, Greater Yuma Economic Development Corporation Mid-Year Report.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you for your time tonight. We really appreciate it. So I come before you to give our mid-year performance presentation. Before I do that, I'd like to take a quick moment to go over the new suite of services that GYEC offers our entire community with your investment, along with many other investors in our community. We are known for bringing in the big fish, going out, trying to attract new companies to bring them into our community, groundbreakings, shovels, all that good stuff. And the reality is that we spend 80% of our money trying to attract new industry to the greater Yuma area, but we spend 80% of our time working with local stakeholders and partners to ensure that we have an economic development landscape that is robust and ripe for investment and new development. And we do that through partnering with our workforce development partners to ensure we have the workforce training tools and resources in place to support healthcare, support manufacturing, logistics, and other commercial and retail endeavors. We also do it by working with APS, Southwest Gas, ALLO, and even our local municipal partners to ensure that our economic development growth areas are essentially have the critical infrastructure in place to support new industry as they want to come in, or support existing industry if they want to expand as well. We invest about $70,000 a year into software and data programs, essentially to provide good data to Jasmine and other partners as they go out and try to attract new industry and retail to the local area. And then along with that, we use that information to essentially help us go out and try to attract new industry and support local industry as they grow as well. We also work very closely with food processing, manufacturing, aerospace and defense, and also logistics companies here locally to ensure that they have all the resources and tools they need to grow. But then we also use those same resources and tools to try to bring in new industry that can impact and bring jobs to Somerton and surrounding areas. We also work very closely with our partners from key stakeholders. I have a board of 19 individuals, public and private, and our whole objective as GYDC is to take a consensus of everyone's needs and wants and essentially focus on those in order to ensure that the whole entire county is growing, thriving, and essentially is a healthy community as a whole. We also work very closely with our partners to ensure that we have financial programs in place, low interest loans, incentives, grants, other different resources and means that essentially can help local industry grow within your community. And we can go out and basically apply for grants that help grow Somerton into the future. And we do that very closely with Jasmine and Lupe as well. And then lastly, we work to be the arm and also the mouthpiece for our region as it comes to economic development, to tell the country and tell the world why the greater Yuma area is such a great place to invest and to locate to. And so we do that, and we do it through a number of different efforts and a number of different efforts and a number of different means and ways. Next slide, please. And with all those different services I talk about, we ultimately have to figure out what is our value to the communities that invest in us and what's our value to our private investors as well. And we think these 4 key performance indicators really demonstrate, our return on investment to the city of Somerton and to our private investors, which amount to about 124 people. Next slide, please. And as you can see at the mid-year point, we've had a very strong year. We've worked with 6 companies throughout Yuma County that have committed to creating over 366 new jobs in our entire area with over $84 million in capital investment and an average wage of $54,000 a year, which is about 30% above the county median wage. We know that with Shaw closing, with Bose closing, that City of Somerton residents have been impacted by that. And so the fact that we have these companies now coming in that can hopefully rehire these individuals in your community and provide them with the quality of life they used to have, we believe that's part of the return on investment to the City of Somerton and to the greater Yuma area. I'm also very excited about the fact that we work very closely with our partners here locally, like Chicanos por la Casa, to go out for grants and other services to help provide more resources back to your community as well. And so as a totality, you can see here, we benchmark where we're going. The mayor is on my board along with other mayors of the city of Yuma and city of San Luis and also Yuma County. And then within there as well, we also have other metrics that we follow to ensure that we are touching upon all the different elements that are really important to helping grow a very healthy community throughout the entire Yuma County area. Next slide, please. So that's what we've done. And now going forward, what are we doing to essentially continue that momentum and continue to bring more activity to the entire region? Next slide. We are working through multiple channels to tell our story from the local level. We're doing that through social media. We're doing it through Google AdWords on a national campaign. We actually have hired a consultant to go into Mexico and essentially promote all the value that our area has to offer. They are focusing on investors and developers that may want to put money into San Luis Somerton, since that's close to the border. But then along with that, they're also looking at the fact that there may be companies that are being impacted by tariffs, being impacted by other legislative matters that would look to reinvest in the greater Yuma area. And so that's why we want to make sure that we're not being forgotten about. Those companies aren't passing by us and going to Phoenix, Tucson, and even to Nevada before they consider our area for investment for growth. We're also doing that through a podcast and along with a business journal and other mediums to ensure that we are going out and promoting our area through multiple platforms and essentially telling the great stories about why Somerton, San Luis, Yuma County, Welton, and even the city of Yuma are a great place to invest and do business in. Next slide, please. This is one example. We created the first of its kind business journal. Essentially, we promote different stories coming from all of our communities, highlights of what's happening in greater Yuma area. And we send that out to over 18,000 people throughout the entire country, focus within industries that we want to target, also focus on developers, investors, and site selectors that may want to make an investment in our community. And so they're hearing from us on multiple times a week about why our area is the area to consider for future development. And we want to continue to expand that distribution network so that we can continue to be the promotion marketing arm for greater Yuma area. Next slide, please. And then from a local level, I talked about earlier, working with our stakeholders and our partners, we want to make sure that our local entities are also being taken care of. So we partnered with the University of Arizona Desert Agricultural Center to essentially expand their virtual farm, their smart farm. And within there, we believe that ag tech is the new wave of economic development in our community. So we're helping them to essentially bring in more investment and bring in more facilities so that they can stand up new companies that want to do R&D, testing, and manufacturing of ag tech in the greater Yuma area. We're also working with Arizona Western College on a $16 million grant to bring in new innovation support so that industries across our entire county can tap into different resources in order to ensure that they are being taken care of as new industries blossom in our community and as we continue to focus on healthcare and robotics and aerospace and defense as higher paying jobs that we all can benefit from. We've worked very, very closely with the Small Business Development Center, along with Forefront ED, across both sides of the border, ensuring that companies that may be in Mexico, entrepreneurs that may be in Mexico that are looking to do business over in the United States would consider our area, and we are supporting them by essentially giving our resources to them as well. We work, as I mentioned before, Chicanos por la Casa and the Greater Yuma Child Care Task Force. We believe those are very important tasks that we want to continue to focus on to help support our entire community. We're working with Chicanos por la Casa on a workforce development program, along with helping childcare providers find resources so that they can essentially help people here have reduce the cost of childcare and provide more accessible as well. As I mentioned as well, we have a binational consultant that's working in Mexico. He's actually down there right now in Mexico City, promoting our area and ensuring that our port, our border area is considered whenever it comes to new investment in the United States. And then we are working closely with Jasmine on the EDA grant. Essentially, it's called the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy. And essentially, what we have to do is put in place our priorities from all of our communities, what we're looking to do, how we want to grow, and what our focuses are within economic development. Once we have those in place, then going forward, we can go after $1 million plus grants in order to essentially encourage more economic development in the city of Somerton. And so that's an effort that we've been leading right now, and we're almost done with the report. We're going to submit it to the federal government. And at that point in time, going forward, if Jasmine has a need for development in a certain area, she can go to the EDA and say, we have a plan in place, we've already identified it, and now please help us with your grant funding to extend water, sewer lines, or even build buildings that create new jobs. And then lastly, next slide, please. talking about what we're doing locally for Somerton, Jasmine and Louis have done a phenomenal job along with your council of bringing in new development within hotels and apartments and other new retail shops. And so we can take no credit for that, but we do try to provide our resources through the different data software I talked about earlier. And so we do provide Jasmine with different reports that she uses to go promote City of Somerton. These reports are very expensive. I talked about in the past, but they're very valuable, I believe, to her. And then along with that, they even allow her to quantify the impact that a lot of your amazing festivals have in your community and where those shoppers are going afterwards, and the reason for them to stay here and shop here if you had more amenities and different shops. And so we will continue to provide Jasmine with those reports and those resources, because ultimately we want to support Somerton everywhere we can. We recognize that a lot of companies we work with don't come directly to Somerton, but we do know that obviously they are hiring your residents. And so any other way that we can provide support to the city and to city economic development, we're going to do that with my staff and myself alike. So with that, I would open myself up for any questions you may have or comments.
Any questions or comments?
I'm just curious on the slide that we were at, Andrea. What, one more there, like the red, what does the red mean?
So that actually demonstrates like a heat map of where people are originating from for, like, say, one of your events, and then where they go afterwards. We can track where individual visitors are coming to Somerton, where they started at, where they end up at in Somerton, and where they go afterwards. And so let's say there's a tamale festival, and we know a lot of individuals afterwards go and want to go shopping. Well, a supermarket, right? Jasmine can use that information to go to a supermarket developer and say, hey, look at all the money that we're losing that we could capture in Somerton if those individuals had an option here or another option here, right? Same thing with hotels and traffic patterns. So this is really following the traffic patterns of people, where they originate from and where they go after.
So pretty much with this, you could kind of give us an estimate on how much money we're losing. Let's just say, with all of our residents grocery shopping, whether in San Luis or Yuma.
Yes, Councilman. Yeah, it's called a retail sales leakage report. And I think we've provided to those, Jasmine, before, and it demonstrates there are a lot of different industries or a lot of different retail shops that should be here, because a lot of money is leaking out into City of Yuma or City of San Luis. And so she can take that information and do her phenomenal job packaging it up and then telling a developer, here's why you should invest in Somerton, because all this money is being lost to other communities.
Just on top of your head, is it in the millions?
It depends on what retail we're talking about. So if you're talking about supermarkets, it's in the millions. If it's automotive, it could be actually you have more automotive shops than you need. So it just depends on what particular area you're focused on.
What is the name of that report again?
It's called a retail sales leakage report. Yeah, and we could put those together for you if you have any questions, or if you'd like one of those. That's one of the benefits of being an investor. We can provide those to you at your whim.
That would be good if you could provide us.
Yeah.
I will work with Jasmine on that. Yeah.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you for your presentation, Greg.
Thank you.
It's very informative, but I do have a comment. As you know, I do attend your luncheons, and I did bring up a concern to our administrator regarding your marketing video.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if it was just a draft of it or not, and I did notice that Somerton was not even on it. Was it a draft, or is that what you're using to promote? Because I listened to you and it sounds wonderful, and Jasmine is doing a phenomenal job, but how is GYEDC helping Somerton market Somerton if we're not even on your marketing video?
Sure. And Councilwoman or Vice Mayor, I apologize. I do believe that was the City of Yuma's video that you're speaking of, or Visit Yuma, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But we do have our own video series that we've created, right? And that reflects our entire area. And I can share those with the council so you can see, we don't miss out on any area. I know in one of them, actually, we do have aerials of the Tamale Festival and some of the other events that go on here to really encapsulate, the vibrancy of all of our communities. So it's a very valid concern. And we certainly do not want to leave any of our communities out. We market equally, when it comes to different companies we're focused on, because we know that regardless of where a company goes, they're benefiting from our entire region. But I can certainly get back with my team and we can provide you with that video that demonstrates that we are showcasing all of our cities and our communities.
I would like to see it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I will make a note of that.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your time, Council. We really appreciate your continued support and investment. Have a good evening.
Thank you. We're gonna move on to new business, discussion on possible action regarding appointment, reassignment, or appointment of council members to various executive and internal committees representing City of Somerton.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council Member. Carmen Juarez, Deputy City Manager. This is the yearly review in which the City Council may wish to consider reappointments, reassignments, or the creation or elimination of any executive or internal committee. Also, the council may explore opportunities to join the new committees as needed. So in front of you, you have the table with the current executive committees that you council attend. And also some members of our staff. And this is the opportunity, the yearly opportunity for council to review and see if there's any changes that you would like to make. Any reassignments?
I'm gonna ask council members that are serving currently is they want to continue to serve, and I guess first if they can, or want to step down, and then
Is there more committees down there?
is there more down there?
There's a, excuse me, there's a smaller table with the internal
Yeah.
committees.
Okay,
The executive committees are committees outside the city. The internal committees are obviously within the city and internal affairs.
Mayor, I would like to continue being part of the Western Arizona Council of Governments Awake.
Vice Mayor, I know you had a conversation with Councilman Galindo regarding, so does he want to continue,
Who
or?
wants to continue?
So you would be the,
alternate.
yeah, so we would take Miguel Villalpando from the alternate and have Vice
The
Mayor.
YMPO.
YMPO, yeah.
and
Yes.
You will be
Yeah.
the next. Okay.
Everybody's fine?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
okay with staying with the health insurance committee. I mean, unless another council member or wants to step in and experience that.
I think that's fine. Okay, so only that change. Okay.
All right.
Do we need a motion for it? Huh? Okay.
We don't have anyone for the Great Yuma Port Authority?
No, we're not members of that.
No, that was, Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
that was something back, but we're not part of that anymore. That's on there because in the future, there might be an opportunity, but that and so forth. And I do have one question I just wanted to ask is right now we have James Jones going to the library one. I know Councilwoman Gonzalez, they changed the times, I believe, for the meetings.
Yeah, and that's been over James.
Yeah, so Jane's been going that, but they would really like a council member. If not, James can continue to represent the city. But this would be for the Yuma County Library District Board of Trustees.
And what time is it?
Time and dates?
Every Tuesday at 5:30. Third Tuesday.
Third
at
Tuesday.
5:30.
It still falls on our.
Yeah, not the first, the second.
Second Tuesday at 5:30.
Have the school board.
So James Jones, I guess.
Volunteering, James.
So do we need to remove Councilmember Gonzalez or just leave it? as we've done?
She already had been. We'll take that off, but
Any additional changes?
No, that's all.
Thank you.
Item 8.2, discussion and possible action to award a contract to TischlerBise for the 2025 development fee update with the amount of $58,600.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. The item before you on the agenda is a request for council to award a contract to TischlerBise for the 2025 Infrastructure Improvement Plan and Development Fee Update in the amount of $58,600. On January 21st, 2025, the city published RFP 2025-006 soliciting services to update the city's infrastructure improvement plan and development fees. The last time the fees were updated were in 2020 and in 2022 respectively. They were updated separately. This update would constitute a concurrent update of the fees. That way we're not updating separately in the future as was the previous time. The RFP was published in both the city's website and in the Yuma Sun. 2 firms expressed interest in bidding for the RFP. They were TischlerBise and DTA Finance. Of the 2 firms, only TischlerBise submitted a bid by the February 18th, 2025 deadline. TischlerBise has worked on numerous projects for the city of Somerton, including 2 previous infrastructure improvement plan development fee updates. Staff believes that they are well versed and knowledgeable in Somerton, given their previous experience. And also, if you look at their track record, they have, I believe, over 60% of all the infrastructure improvement plans and development fee updates throughout the state of Arizona. So they're very experienced in doing this kind of work. We feel staff is confident in their ability to perform. And tonight we are asking council to approve awarding RFP 2025-006 to TischlerBise in the amount of $58,600. The consultant, representative of the consultant, Ben Griffin, is on Zoom if you have any technical questions related to the study.
Questions or comments?
Mayor, I have a question.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, Mayor.
There's a motion by Councilman Roldan,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Delgadillo. Those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council.
Item 8.3, discussion on possible action to award a contract to Solon Corporation and authorize city manager to negotiate costs, presenting the best and final offer.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Carmen Juarez, Deputy City Manager. This request was issued for the solar energy project using the State of Arizona contract for solar energy systems statewide. The city utilized Sunny Path Associates LLC to assist with the procurement process. Just a quick overview of the process. The RFP number 2025-003 for solar energy project was issued on October 9, 2024. 6 vendors were notified from the State of Arizona Solar Energy System statewide contract. A mandatory pre-submittal conference was held here in the city on October 28, 2024 at 9 a.m. where 6 vendors attended. 1 proposal and 2 no bids were received in a timely manner on or before the deadline on December 5th, 2024 at 3 p.m. The evaluation team consisted of 4 evaluators from the city's administration, finance, and community development departments. A kickoff evaluation meeting was held on December 10, 2024, where the committee received an overview of the RFP and requirements for review of the proposal submitted for their independent evaluation. Initial scoring of proposal was reviewed on December 19, and the final scoring was confirmed on January 10, 2025. So from the scoring tabulation, the only company that submitted the proposal was Solon Corporation. The total score was 704.13 points out of an 850-point scale. And since they were the only company, the suggested action tonight is the motion to award a contract to Solon Corporation and authorize the city manager to negotiate the cost, presenting the best and final offer to council for approval at a later date for the city's solar energy project, RFP number 2025-003. And Mayor, I would like to ask and also mention that our legal counsel reviewed this information, and due to the complexity of this project, that's their recommendation to award the item tonight to this company and then authorize the city manager to do the negotiation on the cost and come back to you later to approve, to review and approve the cost proposal and potentially approve that contract. Any questions?
Any questions or comments? Guess my question would be, what are we looking for? What would be a successful negotiation? What's our main goal regarding negotiating with Solon?
Mayor, if I may?
Yeah.
So we've looked at various options that they could provide a service to. First, of course, would be to have an 85% buyback, where that it would produce 85% of our solar, the solar for our energy needs at the three different facilities, which is our water, our wastewater, and our public safety. The other thing was that was important to us is to demo the existing solar equipment, so that that's taken off, so we can utilize space that right now we can't. So that was part of what we want to do. The other thing is we want to see, if possible, to negotiate maybe a payment of the loan that we have currently for our solar, maybe to reduce that. And then finally was to utilize the solar as shade structures for the various facilities. For example, at the PD, actually extending the Bay Area further as shade, using the solar so that equipment can be conserved, and also parking for vehicles, city vehicles or employee vehicles, if we move forward with this project. So those kind of were the four factors that we were looking at that would make this a successful project for mayor and council to consider.
So we move forward with the recommendation that not binding us to anything, right? It's just
if I can have legal chime in and kind of give that explanation, Trish?
Yeah, so mayor and council, it's a policy decision tonight on how to proceed with the request for proposals. But I think at this point, what staff is recommending is that you go ahead and you can authorize the city manager to go forward and
just maybe having an issue with the connection with legal, but she did provide a legal opinion. This would not bind us to Solon. This would basically just say that the mayor and council authorizes administration, me as a city manager, to negotiate. This would give an opportunity, if mayor and council have any questions they'd like me to have answered for them as we move forward this, or certain things that you'd like to know. This would be part of the negotiations. There is no time frame other than when we are able to finalize go with Solon, the negotiations, that we would come back to council and propose what their best and final is. And if council decides that's not what they want to do, nothing would move forward. It would stop there.
well, what I would like to see and prevent is what we had with the other solar, and have assurances that what they're modeling and what they're saying that they're going to produce, the city has some protections behind it, that yeah, the contract actually has some teeth to it, and also when you see numbers, rates, and what at least so we can get a recommendation what we're currently paying, what we would be saving, and the risk that we're taking, and
yes,
just
Mayor,
a
and you will see
very thorough presentation whenever we approve this.
Part of what you have now is just an example of what they're proposing. I feel that we can work on that and work on a better proposal. So again, we're looking for the best of what that service can provide for the city. So we are working with finance, making sure the numbers are going to work, and it's going to be a benefit for the city, because with this power purchase agreement, we're looking at close to a 27-year partnership with Solon. So we got to make sure that that's going to be beneficial through that whole term.
Councilman Castillo.
Yeah, I just have a question. So you're saying that, because I'm looking on page 22. On page 22, it does say here, the pricing summary, that it's for the wastewater, I see it's a 0.1093 per kilowatt. For public works, it's 0.14, public safety 0.17. But then on below performance-based incentive, that would be after the incentives kick in, right? Now, why the difference in kilowatt usage if, why in some it would be 0.10, 0.14, 0.17? Shouldn't it be the same?
No, the rates are varies. So what we're doing is, and to answer that, because we did have a question about that, I'm gonna be reaching out to APS to give us an analysis, to provide you that information. Not everything runs in the same, so that they can provide you a better definition of why the kilowatts are different at different times. And so that's one of the things, part of this negotiation is making sure that all of this is understood to you, to us, and to you on those different variables of kilowatt usage. Looking at peak times, non-peak times, what systems we have in place, all those. And this was some of the things that we saw. We wanted some clarification. So that's why we're asking to move this process along. We think, we believe with what Solon's provided is a good start, but I think it could be better. And so we want the opportunity to negotiate that and come back to you with something that we hope that's going to be beneficial to the city and that you agree upon.
How much are we paying right now per kilowatt?
So I'm
And I think that's what I'm saying, that at least for me, I would feel more comfortable having an analyst here from Solon or whoever instead of us. That's what I'm saying, like,
Yeah,
get
no.
into the weeds right now. I'm sure that the negotiations are starting
But that's where the commitment will allow us to be able to bring Solon and present. There's also, aside from the page 22, there's some designs that they're proposing that obviously once the staff review them, they need to be redesigned. Once they get redesigned to meet our needs, that's when the numbers start changing. So we really need to sit down with Solon and start doing those changes in order to bring you accurate information for you to review. So that's why it's so important for us to be able to sit down with Solon and bring them to the table so you can ask them all those questions directly.
And Mayor, if I may, I apologize. Trish is on the line, but I think we're having a speaker issue.
Councilman Villalpando is also trying to speak and.
So we'll have to look into it. I apologize, but just wanted to make sure.
But just making the motion, we're not agreeing to anything. It's just giving you guys that access just to go and get the information and then bring it to the table, and then we'll decide, right?
That is correct.
Mayor, Councilman Villalpando just has a question. If others submitted late or not at all? This was the only.
Not at all. No, we only had one submittal, and we had confirmation of 2 companies that they corresponded, but said we're not gonna be able to submit.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
And just to point out, we did have 2 local companies, but the job was too big. They didn't feel that were able to be part of this. But one of the things that we're also going to be talking to Solon, and something we've talked about, is that if this does get agreed on and later on, that they use our local vendors, that people that are here in Somerton. That's going to be one of the criteria that we want to add to that also. And Solon's, when we've talked to them, they're open to that. And we've let the other companies, the smaller companies here locally, and we've also let them know that too, so.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion? So motion by Vice Mayor Delgadillo.
Second.
Second by Councilman Roldan. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 8.4, discussion of possible action to approve and ratify an agreement with the United States Corps of Engineers for wastewater plant improvements.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. Charles Gutierrez, Public Works Director. In 2022, the city submitted an application to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for funding of the wastewater treatment plant to upgrade the programmable logic control and supervisory control data acquisition, or the SCADA systems. In March of 2024, Mike Tuttle of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers notified the City of Somerton of the award of the Section 595 funding, which is a fund designed to help and design construction of water-related environmental infrastructure projects. This program is authorized by the Section 595 of the Water Resource Development Act of 1999. Somerton wastewater treatment plant was selected for $500,000 as a reimbursement program. The objective is to design, program, and commission the replacement of the existing PLC and panel views at the Somerton wastewater treatment plant, provide conversion and debugging of the existing PLC and human machine interface, or HMI, programs to the latest program platform. The provided conversion and debugging of the existing panel view programs to the latest program platform, and remove dead tags and clean up the trend of the existing SCADA programs. The equipment to be purchased using this award are as follows: the blower PLC and HMI, the Headworks PLC, the Sequence Batch Reactor PLC, Clarifier PLC, HMI, and the Reactor PLC and HMI. The total project cost is, I love the numbers, $666,666. The federal side of it is on the reimbursement side to the city, it would be $500,000. The local share is $166,667. Due to the timing of the award, the city manager and the city attorney were requested to sign documents to be submitted to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers prior to February 15th to keep the award. And future increments, just so you know, future increments of this design and construction will be defined in subsequent scopes of work and are expected to be performed by the City of Somerton. These future increments basically will be presented to the council for approval to continue the upgrades and improvements of the City of Somerton wastewater treatment plant. The potential increments could include blowers, basin aeration mixing, odor control, inlet channel improvements, headwork screen replacement, additional meter and instrumentation, the RAS and the WAS systems, and flow meters. On the financial impact side of it, there is no impact for FY25. The financial impact will be in FY26, budgeted at $500,000 of federal grant funding plus $166,667 of local funding, for a total of $666,666. Tonight, we're recommending approval, motion to approve and ratify the agreement with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for the wastewater treatment plant improvements of Section 595 award and the grant documents submitted for funding.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
So motion by Councilman Roldan,
Second.
second by Councilman Castillo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Gonna move on to summary current events.
Mayor, first we have Solon Community Development.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, I just want to provide an update on Las Estrellas 7. The Las Estrellas 7 subdivision has broken ground. It is under construction officially. Exciting news. We are looking at getting 104 new homes to Somerton. And the developer has stated that their timeline is sometime in late 2025 for the first homes to go on the market. So that is very exciting. That's all I've got.
Next, we have Chief Juarez.
Mayor and Council, good evening. Araceli Juarez, Chief of Police. A couple things. Pancake Breakfast had a real good response. We had a lot of community members out there. I don't have a specific number of how many people showed up, but we had surveys out in the community. Our staff was giving them out, and we got real positive feedback. One of them that stands out was that community feels very safe in the city of Somerton, and they wanted the officers more in the residential areas for speeders. Those were the two things that they mentioned. I attended the Chiefs conference this past week up in Maricopa. One of the things, some of the subjects that were mentioned was the line of duty deaths. So a lot of preparation behind it that we have to have. And the other one was a lot of information on leadership and training coming forward for our officers. And the last thing I want to mention is we continue to work on the traffic at the two ends of Somerton Avenue, the hires, training, community outreach, and then some of the grants were getting most of them spent. And I just want to say, council members, I wouldn't be able to handle and do a lot of this stuff without the wonderful staff that works for the Somerton Police Department, from our dispatchers to our officers to our professional staff. Just a lot of them have been carrying a lot of hats, but they do it with the most positive attitude, and I'm very appreciative of that. I think it speaks of their integrity, their quality, and I just want to say I have a great team of people working for us at the Somerton Police Department. Thank you.
That's fine, thank you.
Workman's comp.
Steel toe boots.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. James Jones, Parks and Rec Director. Paracone restroom is now open this week for the path walkers and things like that. We are opening it from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. We are also working on a schedule to keep the other parks open to have some consistency with the restrooms at the parks. We are looking to open Paracone Park completely, on April 8th at 6 p.m. We have the state, the representative from the Arizona State Parks and Trails coming. Greater Days is March 22nd. Advertising has started. We'll be filling up Main Street with the banners this week. We'll also be posting softball and baseball signups in hopes to bring that program back to the city. You'll see that out in the next 2 weeks, and we'll be organizing that after T-ball starts and really pushing that. We'll be getting out to the middle schools to really try to bring in the kids and make it the best we can. Thank you very much.
Economic development, Jasmine.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jasmine Zamudio, Economic Development Director. I would like to confirm that we will be attending ICSC in May. As you know, that's a conference where we reach out to retail, introduce the city of Somerton in hopes for a lead. I will come back and give you any feedback on that. In that perspective, I will be utilizing GYDC and what they offer to us. That's when we really tap into their resources. I really rely on the data they provide me and utilize that in all of my pitches. Secondly, I would like to formally invite you and Mayor and Council to our second annual business mixer. This year, I do have SBDC doing the keynote speaking. They will be providing a lot of new development they have in their programs, a lot of new resources. Their SBDC agency is growing immensely, and I would love to still introduce them to business owners here in Somerton. And lastly, we are estimated to close escrow May 7th for 203 West Main Street, which is a lot across the street from City Hall here. So we'll be having that soon. That's it for me. Thank you.
Fire Department, Clemente, Viceros.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm here on behalf of Chief Hernandez, and he only had one thing for me to relay to you guys, and that was to express his gratitude on this last pancake breakfast that we had. Thank you for showing support and always helping us out. Thank you guys too, and most importantly, members of the community that made it a success. So thank you so much once again, and see you next year.
Charles Gutierrez, Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. Charles Gutierrez, Public Works Director. In the Water Division, at the Orange Grove Water Tank Facility, right now, we just have finished emptying the 180,000 gallons for an inspection. And we'll be performing that in the next couple days. And in the wastewater, we're celebrating the chief operator and myself. This past week, we submitted a successful to the industrial stormwater mining multi-sector general permit, or the MSGP. Basically, this is the stormwater pollution prevention plan that the city's been doing for the last umpteenth years. We don't have to do it again for 5 years. We found a loophole that ADEQ helped us, and we will not have to do this for another 5 years. And as long as we do this every 5 years, we will not have to do another plan for that facility. Thank you.
Mayor, that's all we have.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
I have nothing, but Councilman Villalpando sent a message to thank the chief for their efforts to curb the use of non-conforming extracurricular vehicles on our streets. Suggestion is to maybe look into informing the community on requirements for these vehicles through social media.
Councilmember Castillo.
I have nothing, Mayor.
Councilmember Roldan.
Welcome the new planner, and hopefully you're here for many, many years to come. Also, after hearing the presentation from GEYDC, I just want to thank Jasmine for, there's a lot of things they're doing, but most of the stuff, they said you've done it, without their help. So thank you for promoting our city. I know it's your job, but, just doing that economic development, thank you for that. Also, I saw what do you call those, the tricycles, or what do you call those vehicles, Chief? Yeah, they were there at the game, and kids were looking at it, and they were going in areas that I'm pretty sure a regular vehicle couldn't go, and it was nice to see them, around the high school with the kids. So yeah. And also I go to Perry County Park every day to leave my kid there, and the grass looks really nice, actually. Are we putting soccer goals and all that there, or what are we doing there? Okay, yeah, it looks nice. So thank you. That's all, man.
Vice Mayor Delgadillo.
I attended the State of the State address by the governor, and it was a great, well-attended event by a lot of community leaders and the public. I also attended the PD and Fire Department pancake event, so I want to thank both entities for a great job. It was wonderful just to see the kids playing the games and eating all those pancakes, and it was great. Thank you for doing that. It means a lot to our community, and so I appreciate that. Thank you, Jasmine, for also waking up so early, you and your RPIO for being there as well. There's another, also, I just would like to make a recommendation to parks. Whenever there is a tournament at parks, and we reserve parks for tournaments, just to double check that the bathrooms are functioning. We had a tournament in my sister's honor memorial, and the bathrooms weren't working, and so I had to call Louis and so forth. But just kind of keep an eye on that whenever community members rent parks or have events at parks, that the bathrooms are working. But all in that, thank you so much for all that you do. And that's all I have. Thank you.
I attended the State of the State with Hobbs. I like the format. It was just a Q&A instead of just listening to a prepared speech. It was more geared towards our county and more questions. So that was a good format. So that's gonna be, hopefully we let the chamber, the organizer, at least for me, it was I enjoyed just the questions and everything. I think it was more geared towards the Yuma, which I liked. And this next week, I'm going to be attending the National League of Cities Legislative Conference. So I'm looking forward to meeting with our state senators and congressmen, and actually, try to get a handle of, what's going on in Washington and how it's going to be affecting all the funding that that it triggers down to the state and to our city. So it's a very important time to go and at least find out and see how we can better serve our community. And tomorrow we're gonna have our annual meeting with the Cocopa tribe. So I encourage all the council members to go because, you know, they're members of our community and we, we have several projects and several, it comes to mind the golf course, which we were seeing a lot of residents are, not complaining. So see if we can find a solution. Maybe tomorrow it's not gonna be we're not gonna solve anything, but at least we can voice what we've heard from our residents. So with that said, it's 8:02, meeting's adjourned.